Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Jacobson. I'm the Commissioner of Public Safety, and it's my honor to be with you again today on this continuing investigation. First of all, I want to thank our law enforcement partners who are continuing to investigate and search for our suspect in this case. We appreciate all the time that they're taking away, including today on Father's Day, as they're trying to, get to a successful conclusion. I also want to thank the public for listening to what we're putting out there for information, assisting us in any way that they can in locating our suspect. We appreciate that very much, and their help is always, of course, appreciated. Today we'll have some speakers to present some information and updates on what's going on with our investigation. So as we get through our speakers, after we're all done, there'll be an opportunity to ask some questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Ryan Savos. Mayor.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming. It's in moments like this that we search for answers to something that defies understanding, a senseless and tragic act that has shaken us all. But in our darkest hours, we're reminded of the strength and resilience of community. We come together not only to grieve, but to stand strong. And together, we will rise. The heinous act should never have happened. Speaker Emeritus Melissa Hortman and Senator John Hoffman are not just public servants. They are remarkable individuals who have devoted their lives to serving others. Every person deserves to feel safe in their home, including those that are elected to lead us. We have the full confidence in our justice system and the professionals working tirelessly to bring individuals responsible to justice. The Champlin Police Department, the Brooklyn Park Police Department, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the Minnesota Department of Public Safety, and the FBI, all working closely in coordination on this ongoing and active investigation. We are anxiously awaiting news of justice, and we will not rest until that happens. If you have any information, please contact the tip line at bca.tips@state.mn.us or call 877-996-6222 or your local police department. Your voice could make the difference. Now more than ever, we must truly focus on what matters. Beneath all of our differences, political, personal, or otherwise, we are all human beings, and every human life has a value. Let us move forward with compassion, unity, and a fierce resolve for care for one another. While this tragedy has deeply impacted our cities, the people of Champlin, Brooklyn Park, and the greater Minnesota community are strong. We support those who are grieving, we honor those that we have lost, and we stand beside those that are still fighting. Champlin, Brooklyn Park, surrounding areas, stay strong, show love, show respect, be kind, and never forget the strength that we hold when we stand together. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Winston. Thank you.
Hi, so Mayor Winston of the city of Brooklyn Park. As I've said before, prayers and support go out to the families of the Hoffmans and the Hortmans. I know that our cities, Champlin, and Brooklyn Park are going through a fair amount of grief. But in reality, there's no distance between Brooklyn Park and Champlin Park in terms of supporting the families. Because of this, we know that Speaker Hortman, beyond her legislative impact, has had such an impact on unifying our communities and bringing them together. And even at a personal level, she's been dedicated to helping youth when nobody was looking. And when we look at Senator Hoffman earlier today, I was at a prayer vigil for him. And we were talking about how are we going to support the family and come together. When we realized that the number of families that we're going to have to reach out to and the communities we're going to have to reach out to bring everyone together, he's just had such an outsized impact. It's going to be a fair amount of work to properly support and honor him. Because of that, we're really supporting law enforcement in this, and we want to thank law enforcement for the pursuit of justice. So we talk about Governor Walz and Commissioner Jacobson and the resources they made available immediately to our resources at the federal level, the support that we're getting there, county, regional, local, and of course Brooklyn Park I think the work that was done there saved a number of lives. And again, they're committed to justice. And to assist them, we're asking, I think it was said earlier, we asked folks if they have information, please reach out to a tip line. And also, please, if you're looking for information, track real points of information, directly contact or look at information from law enforcement sources. Avoid not sharing or sharing misinformation. And then also, let's realize it's a time for calming words and influence. We are one community, so we very much need to come together on this and support one another. Again, there is some healing that needs to be done here, and we really want to support the families. Again, prayers go out to the families of the Hortmans and the Hoffmans. So thank you, everybody, for your support, and thank you for support not just for within Brooklyn Park or Champlin, but also thank you for support from across the country and through greater Minnesota.
Thank you, Mayor, and mayors and commissioner, and for everybody. I am Drew Evans, the superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I want to provide you a little bit of an update on what we've been working on today and where we are continuing to go. Law enforcement continues to work in partnership to locate and take into custody Vance Boelter in relation to these murders and attempted murders. There's a nationwide warrant for his arrest for the murders and attempted murders in this case at the state level, and there's also then a federal warrant for the same crime, or for him as well, for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. That's through the coordination that's been done with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office and the United States Attorney's Office for that. And so he is wanted on those across the United States. He is not in custody at this time. This remains a very active investigation. We continue to conduct interviews on the investigative piece, not only to learn his whereabouts, but also to follow up on the case and gather the information as part of these the prosecution related to him. As you may have noted today, and I know you've been around and the sheriff provided some updates, there is information that led us to do the searches that continue in Sibley County in that area. Those teams will continue to be active until they feel that they have done a thorough and complete search in that area for him. I want to reiterate for everybody, if you know anything about his whereabouts, or if you spot anything suspicious or may have been suspicious in the last 24 hours, anywhere, but certainly down in that area, to please contact law enforcement, either your local law enforcement and through our tip line. I also want to remind everybody that there's a $50,000 reward offered by the FBI in this particular case. That reward is leading to the capture of him related to this, and that is offered by the FBI. The teams that continue to work on this is over 100 law enforcement officers and numerous SWAT teams that are in that area searching for him. The BCA is working in partnership in this investigation with the Brooklyn Park Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, FBI, ATF, United States Marshal Service, Sibley County Sheriff's Office, and then numerous other agencies such as the State Patrol and other sheriff's offices from across the state of Minnesota and local law enforcement. This is of the utmost priority, and that is why you're seeing teams from the Twin Cities down in Sibley trying to apprehend him as quickly as possible. We did locate in that area that led us a vehicle that we had interest in related to him yesterday that we were searching for, and it was located in Sibley County very early today. Also, I know it's been reported a hat that we believe he was wearing was found in proximity to that vehicle, which is what has led us to believing he was in that area. As we go forward on this, as we see, what we would ask the public to do is continue to remain vigilant, and anything that you see as suspicious, to please report this to us. You know, for him, it is important now at this point that he's wanted for these to come into custody. We want that to be done safely, both for him and for the public, so that we can move forward with this process, and also for the entire state of Minnesota. As they noted, our law enforcement continue to work very diligently and hard, and we know everybody wants answers. And what I'd ask for everybody today, I know it's been a long day without updates, but that's because it's been a very fluid day. There's been a number of different things that have been followed up on throughout the day and will continue to. As noted, we have taken in over 400 tips into our tip line already, and I would encourage people to continue to provide those so that our investigators can sift through those for clues and information that will lead us to him and to uncover exactly what's happening. Lastly, I would just remind everybody that we have families that continue to grieve, that are going through this process, and that it's very difficult for them. We've been in contact with families related to this, trying to provide some answers. And while everybody wants an easy answer, I would encourage everybody online and in our communities to not speculate on what occurred and what the motivation was for this. We often want easy answers for complex problems, and this is a complex situation that our investigators are going to need time to sift through the information and evidence, and those answers will come as we complete the full picture of our investigation, and we will continue to provide that information as we are able. With that, I'd be happy to answer some questions at this time, and I just remind everybody that it's a very active investigation.
Excuse me, can you introduce yourself and your media organization?
Morning, Walton Care 11. We saw a car being towed away from the scene where they were talking about the active investigation in City County. Did you find anything in that car? Our reporters noticed that there was something being grabbed underneath the blanket. Can you share any information?
So the question was, did we find anything in that car? We did find items of evidence in that car that are relevant to this investigation. We can't go into the details of that, but there were items recovered for that car that are relevant, that will be part of our investigation, that provide additional answers, and that lead us to believe, additionally, beyond looking for it, that he was associated with that vehicle.
Adrian Bronis from NBC News Network. Do you believe the suspect is trying to leave the country? And if so, do you have any evidence maybe headed toward Canada?
So the question is, do we believe that he is trying to leave the country or headed towards Canada? There's a large law enforcement presence down in Sibley County, but we don't have him in custody. So we don't have evidence that he's intending a particular destination, but all options are open to the investigative team, and they're exploring that right now.
Dan Huff from the New York Times. Do you believe he's on foot?
The question is, do we believe he's on foot? We believe, in terms of we have not concluded exactly how he is getting around the area at this time. It could be in multiple ways that he has traveled, and that's open, and that's why you see in that area a very large perimeter, because they're looking at various modes of transportation from there.
Hey, it's Brittany Shepard, ABC News. Do you believe the suspect is still alive? And can you tell us more about the traffic stop involved in why it happened?
Yeah, the question is, do we believe he's still alive? We're certainly operating as though he's still alive and believe he is at this time, and will continue on as is. And the question about his wife and traffic stop, I think everybody would know that, in any time an individual is identified as a suspect in investigation, we're going to talk to their family members and do that. So we met with his family, not just his wife, but other family members, to really understand what's going on, and that's part of that, and that will help us complete the investigation, and so that was part of what we're doing. Jay?
Jay Coles, Channel 5 News. Drew, on that point, are they in custody at all, or were they just questioned and released? And also, do you have any evidence that he might have stopped at another lawmaker's house before he got to Hoffman Morgan?
So the questions were, are they in custody? The answer is no. And then as far as the others, we've mentioned we can't get into the specifics of the investigation. What we believe that there certainly were other individuals that were identified as part of this information with him. And the terms of what exactly he had done, we are still continuing to build out that full picture as to what his whereabouts were. But we certainly are getting there, and there were other individuals that might have been targeted. Yep. Paul knows.
Minnesota Public Radio. One of my colleagues spoke with people in Sibley County who were told that the suspect may have been getting around on a bicycle or an e-bike. Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah. So the question was, is the individual getting around on a bike or bicycle? I think that, as noted previously, there might be multiple modes of transportation for the individual, and we can't get into the details and specifics. It might thwart our ability to locate the individual.
Yeah, Drew Paul Balloon, Fox 9, just about assistance. Do we believe at this point he's getting any assistance based on any evidence that was found? And then just to elaborate a little bit more on that traffic stop, because there have been leaks that the cash is intriguing. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what was found there and why, if so, they were able to be released?
Yeah, the question was, why were they about the traffic stop and what were then, can you repeat the first part of your question?
And the first was just, is there any hard evidence that he's getting assistance?
Oh, yeah, thank you. So the question was, is there assistance in the items? And I can't discuss the details of what was inside of the vehicle at that time. It's part of our active criminal investigation, and we're working on that. Why were they allowed to be released? They were cooperative. We're working through that process. We certainly always analyze evidence, but they were very cooperative with us and provided us the information we needed and the information related to that. If the question about do we believe he's receiving any assistance, options are on the table. We haven't seen specific individuals doing that, but we don't know that specifically now. He's certainly been in contact with individuals. Whether or not they're providing active assistance, I can't provide that. Go ahead.
Lily, I was going to ask you, have you found any indication of prior threats, any online activity, any communication besides the manifesto? If you wouldn't mind sharing some details of the manifesto that might help people help find them.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. It was about details on what's been referred to as manifesto, and then are there online information or others or threats indicating. So far, we have not located any prior threats with this individual towards anybody on that. That will obviously be a deeper dive to really understand the motivation of this individual and whether or not that is on there and connections related to threats, whether they might be here or in different parts of the United States. In terms of what's been referred to a manifesto, I want to clarify for everybody, and just for this is not a document, because I think it's important for the public to understand, that would be like a traditional manifesto that's a treatise on all kinds of ideology and writings. This is a notebook with a lot of, that's been reported, of lawmakers and others that are listed in here, and then much more other thoughts that are throughout this, as opposed to a very succinct document that's providing long, and it's mixed in with other documents. So that's where this is coming from. I don't want the public to have the impression that there's this long manifesto that's providing all of this information and details and then associated with names. It's much more about names and then others, and we will work through. And beyond that, I cannot provide details because it's part of the active criminal investigation.
I have a question. Is the shelter in place even related to this investigation?
I am not familiar with that. I'd have to ask you to go to Egan. The question was a shelter in place in Egan, and I am not tracking a shelter in place in Egan right now. Was it earlier today, or is it right now? I would ask that I am not, we've been in here for a few minutes, but so I don't know if there's anything related to ours, but I'd have to ask you to talk to the Egan Police Department. Yeah, I can just on that. So the federal role on, yes, please. Yeah.
Is there still an ongoing threat to current lawmakers?
So what I would tell you in terms of the questions were ongoing threat to public lawmakers, is there one? Certainly the safety of our lawmakers and public services is utmost concern to all of us. Certainly is to the security apparatus at the Capitol that provide that for them, our Minnesota State Patrol as well, and so we continue to evaluate that. I will say that we have no indication that the individual that is wanted here did anything other than conduct these acts by himself. But that doesn't mean we aren't exploring more fully. If there's any other threats that might be there, we will continue to evaluate that and work together with them. In terms of the role of the federal government, they've been extremely great partners to all of us. The FBI and ATF, the United States Marshal Service, and others from the federal government are providing both investigative assistance on this case and then participating in the manhunt for the individual to locate him and take him into custody safely. That is not uncommon in a large case like this, and the United States Attorney's Office has been in contact with us, and they certainly will be exploring if there are federal charges that would be connected to this sort of violence that was conducted on our lawmakers.
Who is taking the lead in this? Is it still a Minnesota
Yeah, so this is a partnership right now. The Brooklyn Park Police Department is the lead on the murders that occurred in their city, and we are assisting them as we do as a BCA in communities all across Minnesota with the assistance of the Sheriff's Office as well, and then those federal agencies. When we do an investigation like this, it is not uncommon for us to work in partnership with our federal agencies to see if there is an investigation that may lead to federal charges, which is what we're doing. So it is very typical that you would pursue in a murder case the murder investigation as a state case, be charged, and then we'll examine if there are federal charges, and we'll have those ongoing conversations, which we are doing right now with the United States Attorney's Office for Minnesota. And in that case, the FBI is typically the lead agency in that case, unless there is something else that's more specialized, like gun charges, et cetera. All right, thank you. We should answer this. So, and this is, the question is, this has been expanded to South Dakota, and I think that came from, I don't know the specifics, but oftentimes when we're looking for an individual, we will send out information to law enforcement in surrounding states. Yesterday, he certainly had a lot of time to be able to cover a lot of distance once we knew that he had escaped from the crime scene. We believe that information was shared just like we would share in Minnesota if somebody was coming. This happens on a regular basis, that it was shared out for their law enforcement to be on the lookout. They call it a bolo, to be on the lookout for the individual, and we believe it was there. We were never tracking and believing the individual went to South Dakota as an investigative team. Thank you. Thank you all.